Hi there, my name is Emmy. I'm going to give an example of some of the different sounds we can get out of a trumpet when we're using different mutes. I'm going to show you some of the most common that most players should have to hand, but make sure that you're asking your players what they have if you're looking to use any of these. One, I want to discourage you from just writing mute in your parts. Be specific. Trumpet players have a lot of different mutes oftentimes, and they won't know exactly which one to use unless you tell them. If you do write just mute, especially in a classical setting or maybe a Broadway setting, most players will assume this, straight mute. Super good for a bugle type sound. And it gives it a really nice kind of tinny, a little bit brighter of a sound. This won't affect the volume of your instrument very much at all, nor will it affect the range very much. One thing you'll notice I do with all of these is I'll breathe into the bell of the instrument before inserting the mute, and that's because these little bits are made of cork, and that will expand to fit snugly into the bell. But that means you want to give your players a lot of time when you're asking them to change mutes or add a mute or take it out. I have something of an oddity here, which is a plastic straight mute. It's going to work exactly the same as this one, just a little bit darker. Most players won't have that, but I think it's fun to show people. The next is a cup mute. It's much similar to a straight mute, but with a little cup around it. And it's going to give you a much darker, softer sound. It's going to affect the volume a little bit, but not terribly. And this is great for that older jazz sound. The next thing I want to show you here is a Harmon mute. And Harmon has a few different sounds that you can get out of it, but notably, this has cork all the way around, whereas these that I was showing you only have a little bit. This means that it's going to be harder to play higher and louder on Harmon. Harmon really affects your volume and your range. A lot harder than open. Now, Harmon is most commonly used with the stem out. This is that kind of Miles Davis-y sound. You'll hear it on records like Someday My Prince Will Come. That's my favorite use of the Harmon. It's also kind of a noir sound if you're into detective movies. But less common is Harmon with the stem in. And this, with the stem in, you can kind of do a little wah here. And you can have the stem varying amounts of out for different sounds. And the last one I'm going to show you is the plunger. Now I have two different sizes of plunger, and they mostly will work the same, but in both cases it's a standard sync plunger that you take the handle out of and drill a hole in. And this will cloud the sound up a lot, but it'll also change the intonation more than most of the other ones. Now for the rest of this demonstration I'm going to use this smaller one because I find it a little more comfortable to use. A plunger is another mute that you can get that wah sound out of. With this, you'll want to, and with the Harmon if you're using the stem, you'll want to notate whether or not you want it open or closed. Closed meaning covered, mostly covered. If you cover it too much, it'll change the intonation almost by a full half step. It's a lot. But mostly covered will be a cross for closed, and open will mean a circle, which will mean mostly uncovered. And that's good for effects if you're doing like one note. It's very common to do. It's a little Benny Goodman trick. These are the four most common mutes that most players will have to hand if you ask them. I encourage you to consider all of these sounds. Listen to different records, pick out ones you like, and use these sounds and consider these sounds when you're writing. Because frankly, we love using our mutes, and we don't get to do it as often as we'd like. Thank you.